Sui has actually had one of the strongest bounces from this correction with a 46% bounce. But I have to say, of course, from that daily open in the very early hours of this morning, it had moved down around 27%. And for the market cap that it is, that's a big move down. But of course, this was all opportunity. Now, this move down all the way into $2.40 was very, very brief. It bounced back up like a V-shaped recovery. I am on the daily time frame, so we're just seeing the whole day that has passed by. Of course, if we scale down to lower time frames, you might see this V-shaped recovery a little bit more. So at the moment, there is a bullish pattern that Sui has broken out of. Now, this is all great in the short term. I'm just trying to think a few steps ahead where this could potentially top out. Now, that's what we need to worry about. So great that we're seeing this almost 50% bounce since the low, which was set at least in the UK, 2 a.m. candle. This 1 hour candle ended at 3. So by 3 is really up from 240 to 270. And a few hours later, it was back at $3. Now we're almost at $4. Where will Sui potentially feel some potential resistance? Now, I did use this dip to accumulate some more, although I actually managed to only get it in this region over here between the 886 and the 786. I didn't manage actually to get it down over there. That would have been super nice if that was possible. Of course we want our money to go up. We want Sui to break out. I would love for it to fill in that wick so I could accumulate more. Even at this very price, $3.56, there's still a 50% move. So you're definitely getting a lot more bang for your buck because it was a much higher premium up there at $5.40. So you're definitely getting, more tokens for less money at the moment. Would have been incredible to get it down there, because riding it all the way back up would have given a potential 125% move just to the highest, guys, let alone the targets it's now created with this. So for certain coins, I think they are totally fine with this correction. I think the market is too saturated, and there are smaller coins that people are unaware about and that are less trustworthy. And I think for those sorts, that they could just keep bleeding downwards. But certain narratives, I think, are going to continue booming, and Sui falls under those categories. Definitely recommend checking out all the other alts that I talk about on the channel. I'm not necessarily in all of them, but I am in Sui. I've just made an update today on Solana and Bitcoin, and I also hold those. So I'll hold all three of these. But I think that smart contract platforms, especially US based ones, are going to continue to do well. The DEXs that come with those smart contract platforms, any US based coins, so even Cardano falls under that category of smart contract platform, and so on and so forth. So Bitcoin as well, of course. There are many that are going to be totally fine, that take advantage of a slight Bitcoin move up, but some need a little more help. And of course, fundamentally, with Trump making American crypto tax-free for citizens, and Sui is going to do totally fine, since Miston Labs was the founders of Sui was, of course, based, or still is based in San Francisco. So for Sui over here, what I need to see going forward is a break of $4. And this is just the first level of resistance. I'm going to mark out this key area over here. It does extend a little bit beyond $4, $4.12. But there will be another level up ahead, $4.50 to $5. This is the ultimate resistance. If we fail to push through this, then there is, of course, lower to come. So we can get rejected at the very first resistance here or here, and still go ahead and fill in this giant wick that we've created today. Now, as you can see at the moment, this green box is a huge area of support. So that's what could stop it from getting down there. So maybe just a short-term rejection and then continuation higher. I will be here anyways with it developing. I'll make further updates, but I just need to make you aware of all these potential scenarios at the moment. Let me just actually freshen up this chart. So what I will do is, as we've got this local bottom, at least I can call it a local bottom. It's potentially the long-term bottom as it's a capitulation event. But guys, looking in the past, when you see these massive wicks, they've been filled, haven't they? So this is an even larger wick. It most likely is going to get filled, but that's also dependent on Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin wants to break out certain key areas, levels, then SUI is going to be breaking out and bringing better percentage returns, of course, as SUI's up nearly 8% today and Bitcoin's only up 1.5%. But of course, yeah, Bitcoin held up a lot better, clearly. So that's why I DCA'd some SUI, DCA'd some Bitcoin and Solana today in the Discord. But as you can see over here, with this enormous bounce, going forward, there will be some upcoming resistances in this area and this area over here. If it now fails to push through, we'll see it roll over, and wherever it does actually top out, I'll be able to get some support fibs. So this is just some framework at the moment. It's not totally accurate, but let's just say between the price of $2.70, $3, that's where we want to see SUI holding. And if I were to actually place a fib here, we might see some confluence with that range over here, yeah, as support. What I will do is actually draw a support between these areas over here, so not the levels that I just mentioned, because slightly lower. We're currently holding it up where we're seeing more bodies in this area. You can shorten the box, you can enlarge the box to the exact Fibonacci levels, you can draw it so it's just on the bodies. It really doesn't matter, it's all correct. So you can have it as wide or as thin as you want. It is all support in that area. That's what the Fibonacci's are saying. It's a key support range, and from that key support range we're meant to get this reversal, which we now see, although early hours of the day we had broken through all those supports. Only now we're seeing that market bounce, and it could still get bad because of the huge wick to the downside. So it has, of course, liquidated a whole bunch of longs. We need that to move the market up until the next key area of interest, which is going to be, again, $4 to $5 pretty much. This humongous resistance. And we don't want to see that rollover and continuation lower. That could form a massive head and shoulders pattern. And as an investor of SUI, as I DCA'd in this area over here, also, I want it to continue up from here. But just making you aware, if you followed my Bitcoin update from earlier today, it needs to reclaim 100K and eventually 108K. And then once that's happened, SUI will definitely be in the clear, and these would be your future price targets. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share if you enjoyed this update so far, and spread the word. But yeah, we can now see targets as high as $16 confirmed out of this dip that just began at the beginning of this month. You know, without this dip, we didn't have these short-term targets now. If we scale out more, yeah, we might have had macro targets up there. Now we've got short-term targets, or let's say mid-term targets up there. These would have been long-term targets in the past, as you can see, $10, $15, $20. But with this correction that we've now seen in January, although very brutal, not as brutal as the rest of the market, it did drop 55% on a large cap that, you know, over 10 billion. That is a bit wild, but it's of course now significantly less down, only 34%. Can it develop worse? Absolutely. If we're not breaking through $4 and $5, we can still roll over even more. But, you know, if we can maintain this low that I created the support on, which is $3.20, well, it says $3.29, but $3.20 was where I DCA'd. As long as that can maintain a support, we're looking for a new all-time high. And now we've got these macro and micro, so short-term and long-term targets, all in alignment. This is called confluence. So yeah, just great to see things overlapping, multiple things pointing in the same direction. And now with our short and long-term targets, all pointing at between $10 and $16. You can see the longer term target is actually asking for even higher, but maybe we do another correction that's similar. Don't know how high we get before that correction, but then we might get even more targets with new fibs pointing in the same location, as you can see. But this is all framework, because that's not a dump that's actually happened. We can only use the fibs on dumps that have actually happened for future bullish targets. And at the moment, we have a lot of confluence in double-digit territory. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow the Bitcoin updates as well. Remember, we're not totally in the clear yet until $5 is reclaimed. I know that sounds so annoying, but I've DCA'd regardless of if we end up going lower, because I am, of course, in the end, bullish as an investor, wanting this resistance to break. I'm just well aware this could be an area we see a dump from that fills in the wick, and then of course use it again to DCA. At some point this will reverse and continue higher, because the bull market top is not in for Bitcoin. We can see even if we lost the lows, dumped down aggressively, this is all key support. It's all above the golden pocket down over here. You know, price is bullish above $1.50. We can see the market changed character, as previously was hugging all these areas as resistance, turned it into support, created a new all-time high, went on a mad run. So while above that area down there, $1.50, this is all bullish, and we can see it bounced off of some key golden pocket levels already, $2.40, $2.50. So it shouldn't really lose that low that we just bounced from yesterday, but it can definitely fill in the wick. But yeah, shouldn't really lose that. Of course, the best scenario would be this one right over here. That's what I want. But I'm also not naive to the fact that that bearish case can, of course, happen. Just be aware. With that in mind, I've still DCA'd because I just thought it being so far away from its highs from my entry, $3.20 at the time, it was roughly 70% to the highs. I thought that was absolutely juicy, especially for people that are not even involved in SUI yet. This has served as a great entry point. So yeah, that's it from me today. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you want to learn how to use the fibs just like me. If you want to learn from me on a daily basis, or just keeping updated with all my TA, check out the Discord community. Follow me on all social media platforms anyways. But yeah, if you want further access, then check out the Discord. Links down below. Cheers, everyone.